Yeah.
It's cool, bro.
Because I've done these podcasts too many times. I've done three different shows.
And I was gonna say, bro, like which one are you sort of doing right now at the moment?
This one dedicated to this
So
one.
this is
This is the
like
one
your
on
own
one. Yeah, it is the one on one. Because where it was before, I guess it was just more of a confidence thing where I didn't feel like I could carry a show by myself
Yeah.
or just do interviews and stuff. So I had 4 shows. I had Unusual Suspects, which had a whole bunch of 5 people, and then it went to La Voz with Karina, and then Juan and Patrick.
Karina does her own one now, doesn't she?
Yeah, but she's just mostly focused on artists, from what I can tell.
She's doing like the new artists and stuff.
Yeah, the new artist stuff. Some of them have been there for a while. That's just artist stuff. For me, I'm just like, I'm done to talk to people, every single person I've worked with. And then eventually, because there's quite a lot of Latin community base anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll keep doing that because it's way more interesting. I'm done with the artist stuff, but I can't do the artist stuff anymore. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Man, I got a tattoo done today.
Tattoo.
Yeah, but it's just not the best thing to do in the cold, man. Or even in the hot, man. It's just one of those ones. But first of all, how you been though?
All right, man. Good.
Yeah.
Good, man. Good.
I might as well give you a brief introduction for the people to know who I'm talking to right now. I formerly know you as DJ Will. Now, for those who don't know, you actually was my first, I think it was like second or first club gig that I've ever done, which was, oh my God, you guys are literally promoting. It was with Juan Camilo.
Yeah.
What was it? I'm actually, it's at the tip of my tongue. I saw it
Dembo
earlier.
Town.
Dembo Town.
Yeah.
There you go. And that was in Cache. And I think, was that the first time we met? I don't even remember.
That was pretty much, I think, that was like the first interaction we had.
And ever since then, I've always seen you as like one of the DJs and event guys doing this stuff. But you've done a lot more. You know, I've seen that you've opened for like Mark Anthony and stuff like that. And you've got your own event stuff going on. But I wanted to ask, like, because I remember we've had a few conversations before. We would always knock into each other. But I didn't really get to know to the firm grasp of what you were actually doing, like event promoting, but you also DJ'd. But what was it, the aspect of? Yeah.
And the funny thing is that none of that was actually what I've originally wanted to do or wanted to become. I think a lot of people get it confused where they're like, you love DJing and that's kind of your thing. And it's not actually that. Radio was actually my thing. I studied radio. I've got a BTEC National Award in media.
Okay.
So I specialized in radio, in radio production, in news production. So that was my thought ever since I was, 19, 20. And then I went into radio. I've done community radio. I actually had the first show on a legit community FM radio station called TLS Radio. That was such a long time ago, man. I feel old now. And then it was the Culco Radio story. That's where, I launched my El Morning Show. That's where the concept of El Morning Show was born. And with Culco Radio was probably the first time that we sort of went into doing things like promoting concerts, giving out tickets, trying to sort of interact. But in that time, obviously Instagram was just starting off. I don't know if you remember, but in Instagram when we first started off, it was some big massive posts and it was just one-liners and that was it. It was really and obviously no videos, it was completely different. But the DJing sort of came on the side of it, to be honest with you. Obviously mixing a little bit on the radio, but I wasn't gigging that often. I'd say, now I've been a DJ for 20 years, but I've not the majority or the big part where people obviously got to know me more as a particular DJ was the last 8 years. Where, I've obviously been gigging locally, nationally, internationally. So that's the DJing part. But my passion in life has always been radio. Like I've always said, if I could have, there was a time in Aculco that I was the only paid DJ. So I was actually getting paid, the paid host. So I was actually getting paid. I was on a contract and I was also doing socials for them. And that was my job. I couldn't live off what they were paying me, but it was still a massive incentive that, I was getting paid to do something I absolutely loved. I'd be in the studio at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd go live at 7. I'd be there for 2-3 hours. I'd stay extra. Radio was just radio has been that big chunk of my life that that I've absolutely adored. Like it's just been some great, and it hasn't given me ever really. That was only in that 6 months was I was with Akulco set under contract for a year, but they only paid me legit for 6 months. But it was those 6 months that just stand out for me because I felt, this is it. This is what I'm actually waking up in the morning, con ganas with like, you really want to go into work. I just didn't feel when you're doing something you enjoy and you now have that feeling, I guess, that we work for ourselves. We have that feeling that we do something that we're passionate about and we enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work at times. So it was
a passionate hobby, but it just
100%, man. So it was a good time. But then the DJing has come along and it's been a crazy journey over the last few years.
And then it's almost like the way I've seen you develop and grow. It's like you've become very how do I say it? like a face for promotion, especially when in terms of a lot of events. Obviously, you've worked with several different people with their own companies who's got events going on in regards of artists and people and stuff like that. But how did it come from? Obviously, it must have stemmed from the DJing, but you also worked in the logistics side of things as well.
I mean, that obviously came about even when in the time when we were doing the radio. That's when basically I established a connection with Chris. And La Pollera Colorada. I mean, I've worked with the family for well over a decade now, and it stems from there that we just thought, look, let's use the radio to try and promote. It's something that wasn't done here, but that all came from my travels abroad. I used to travel a lot to America. I used to go to Miami, to New York. I was inspired by DJs like Alex Sensation, Luis Jimenez, and they were, and then the promotions that the radio stations used to do, La Mega, El Sol, and we've got this show and we're giving out these tickets and we're promoting here and we're doing this and we're doing that. So I thought, you know what, we don't do that here in London.
No.
We just don't. We don't really interact with people. So then across the years, it was like, you know what, we need to be more. Let's cover more. And I've sort of felt, as you mentioned, it was funny you mentioned it because I was sort of like the face, but it was more of the connection that I have with the people, the fact that I literally would go out and, take pictures with people and ask them like, are you looking forward to the show? During the shows, during the concerts, I'd go out and record footage with them. And I think that's something that people, enjoy and connect with a bit more.
Feel involved.
And I've been blessed, I have to say, I've been blessed to have worked with different promoters along the line. I've never been restricted in that sense. The promoters have always been respectful, knowing that it's a job that I'm able to do. I worked, in well over a year that I was literally with DJ Chris Promotions. We did 9 concerts. It was probably one of the best years that the organization had. We did 9 concerts in total, and it was a beautiful time as well, man. It was really, really good. We learned a lot. You learn a lot, working in venues like the O2, Wembley Arena. I mean, these places became like a home, and know them like the palm of my hand now. When you go there as a fan, it's different to when you go there when you're working, being backstage and just seeing the whole process of how things are being put together. But yeah, it's been a nice journey, sort of, to be able to experience that, and obviously the opportunity then to work with other artists as well across the board. And other venues, Brits Electric, the now extinct Coronet at Elephant and Castle. We've did artists like Gilberto Santa Rosa. Bad Bunny was there. Bad Bunny was one of the best concerts I think we had there. So there's just so many memorable moments, man. And what stands out for me the most is, like I said, is these connections that you establish with the public. Que el público get to feel and get to appreciate that, the effort that you make and just honestly, people don't know what goes on, man. To put on these shows is
It's hectic.
it's hectic. Crazy, man. Concert days were. I always say concert days were the best, but they were the sleepless ones. I mean, we used to go a day and a half without sleeping. I mean, we'd go 42 hours maybe, no sleep, just round the clock, because so much stuff would need to be done. And but they're good experience, and you take those away. And I think that's why I'm now to a point in my career where I've said, you know what, I've done what I've wanted to do. I mean, and it's exceeded my expectations, man, 100%. Like, it's exceeded my expectations.
Done a lot. And now, obviously, you're doing your own event. If anyone else knows, you're doing your own thing now, right?
Yeah, I think that's where you have to, like evolution, you have to, progress. And I think there's nothing better than being your own boss.
That's true.
I think it's been many years that I've helped other venues. I've pushed other venues, even on normal nights. I always say, if I get hired to gig somewhere and be a DJ there, I'm gonna promote it like if it was my own night.
Yeah,
I feel First, I feel grateful for the promoters to include me, and secondly, I want it to be busy. You like a busy venue. But Sabor Entertainment as a brand, it's almost 2014. It's almost 9 years now.
That's when they initiated.
It's 10 years.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years. Yeah, it's almost 10 years now. Actually, it's 10 years this year. So yeah. And it's like full circle for me. It's come around in a full circle. I mean, I'm at a point where next month, I have decided to now just perform under my own nights, work exclusively for my own nights. And we're returning to also a venue where I first started, which was actually Tito's. It used to be La Fonda de Maria. But we used to, my first event ever was Sábado Clásico. And that's where, I wanted to return to and want to carry on doing an event there. We've got a couple of new other venues as well. And it's just, it's a beautiful thing that I'm able to do that transition because of the people, because of the public. I always say this, I know every single week I'm thanking. I think people get bored of me saying thank you on Instagram, but I can't thank you enough, because it's what people perhaps don't comprehend is when you come to one of my events, that's actually food that goes on my table.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So it's quite literally, my work evolves behind you coming to pay a ticket and actually supporting that event. And the fact that you go, I mean, to most people, it just comes second nature. We're going out and it's £10. We're going to pay £10. Yeah. But if I broke it down for you, that money that you're paying at the door, literally, that's for me to go shopping and for me to be able to travel and for me to go on holiday and for me, literally, that is literally it. And I don't for a second take that for granted.
The bread and butter.
Yeah, and I truly appreciate it, bro. Like I feel incredibly grateful to be in this position where I am now, where I'm able to do that transition of not now having to work for other clubs and other promoters who I'll forever be grateful for, but to be able to say, look, these are my events, these are my nights, they're done in my style. And I think the public and the people know that when it's a Sabor Entertainment event and it's organized by the Euro, it's going to be something that's going to be well organized. It's going to be something that's going to look good. It's going to be fun. And it's going to be a good night out. Yeah. And that's what, I'm trying to get across with Sabor Entertainment. I want people to know that that's the guarantees that you're going to get for a good night, because there are certain specifics that I do differently. Other promoters do other things differently, and that's respectful. We respect that, but I do things in a certain manner that I try and say, look, this is how I do things and how I want my nights to go. And like I said, it's just good. It's just beautiful to be able to do that move, man.
I mean, we're thankful as well. I need to actually go to an event myself. I'm not gonna lie. I partied a lot, but I haven't been out to everyone's thing. But I just keep seeing new events coming up, which is great. But I don't know how the competition's like, because I remember before when I started going out a lot, I saw a lot of people with different options, and it really depends on the demographic as well. You can have the Latin people, like the Latin community, but obviously hay unos que son salseros, hay unos que son reggaetoneros.
And
Yeah.
that's the point you just hit on. And the thing that's probably the difference with me as a promoter, and that's where I feel more blessed, because I don't specialize in a genre, and I don't specialize in a specific demographics, right? Ethnically. It's literally, I've always been, my dreams have always been, look, crossover. It has to be crossover. I can't, I love, and the good thing is, before touching on this other bit, is that in regards to competition, there is that competition, but I think it's nice and it's healthy. So far, so good here in London. Like, most of the promoters, we know each other. Most of the DJs, we know each other. There's literally no conflict, no beef, no bad vibe, we don't try and sort of put each other or pisanos la manguera, or like, not generally. I haven't seen that as per se, which is a nice thing. And I have like really nice stories with other DJs that, that we've contributed to each other, and we support each other even on same day events, and and what people probably won't see, there'll be days where we text each other on the same day and we're like, bro, a romper, que te va súper bien, or great, ¿cómo te fue, papi? Like, the next day, me fue súper bien, excelente, a mí también. And it's that, and I think you have that energy and that vibe, and it's just, it makes things a lot more easier. I see things differently in other cities where I travel. Here, it doesn't really happen. I think here we're at a level where there's so many options, so many good vibes from the promoters and the DJs, which is great. In terms of going back to sort of my events, I've been blessed with the fact that to a Sabor Entertainment event, you will always get people from all demographics. Gente boliviana, peruanos, ecuatorianos, colombianos, dominicanos. And I managed to, because obviously I'm the DJ, I managed to obviously make sure that everyone enjoys it. Everyone has fun. Now we've obviously got our Hondurans, Hondureños están ahora con nosotros. So, and that's the key. And I think that has to put me slightly aside from other promoters, because a lot of promotions are either reggaeton or salsa or Ecuadorian or Colombian, and I've just persisted along the line. And there's been times where I thought, damn, it's tough. It's tough putting just a crossover event, because I don't have that one thing. But to be now at this position where I'm about to embark on this regular nights, because I feel confident enough that the following and the public is there, it's great. It's great. And it's been hard work. It's been hard work. There's been hard work. There's been nights where you think, I sold 20 tickets, man. What's gonna happen? I can't even pay security tonight, and el estrés is real. Like, it's there, and there's been mostly great nights, but I can count probably on one hand like the really, really bad nights, which is amazing, because we're talking hundreds of nights over the last few years, and most of them very successful. And just like I said, it's just incredibly grateful as el público. Like, they're just resilient, and they're just relentless in their support, and the fact that they enjoy the night, and then they'll tell their friends and tell their family, and then come back. And there's people, I mean, I was going through my Instagram, New Year, and just having a bit more time, and there's people that have just supported me, that started following me from when I opened my Instagram from day one, and they're still there, and they're still, they still come to an event, and they'll still send you a message, and they'll still support. So it's been nice, bro. Like, it's been like a really good journey so far.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Happy for you.
Yeah, man.
It's been a long ride since the last time we've met, since the last time we worked together. But it's been good. It's been good.
100%.
I got a question for you. Since obviously you've done the radio part, and now you're doing your own thing. You think you ever go back to radio?
ese bichito siempre está ahí, bro. That's like a es un gusanito that doesn't go. It's that's something inside,
like one of those things like I wanted to do it, and
and I
do it.
think it's now not even the point where I want to work, because obviously I helped build up
Yeah.
a couple of radio stations, which was Aculco, like held the fort for them for a few years. Obviously, I've been involved with Sound Latino Radio,
Yeah.
which is doing good. And we had an amazing couple years during the pandemic, after the pandemic. But now it's at a point where, like I said, you look forward and you look for progress. So why stop at let me do a show on something? No, now it's with online radio,
Yeah.
or even with other. I'm looking at other options with community stations and saying, you know what, is there a way maybe? Do I want to do my own show, or shall I just go for launching my own radio station? So there's a lot of work behind it,
Yeah, I can imagine.
but the option's there. The choice is probably there. It's, I could go for my own radio station and do my own marketing and do my own sponsorships and get my own, my own stuff in. And it starts to, but then you start to think time, effort, money. Is it really worth it?
Longevity,
Is that what you want
all
to
of
do?
that.
What's it going to do in the long run? And that's when, you start thinking, you think, maybe we'll leave it on the freezer for now. Pero siempre está ahí. It's always there, bro. It's always there. And I don't think it's ever going to go away. Radio is such a massive thing. It was my dream since I was a kid. I mean, excuse me, I think I've said this once or twice on my Instagram, and this is how I show my age. Back in the old days, they used to be like these big, massive cassette recorders, and they used to have a small spot inside on the radio on this that you say mic.
Right.
No word of a lie. So it was there. So you'd have to speak through el huequito so that you could hear the voice on the cassette.
No way.
So when you press record, you'd be speaking there. And that's how people used to record. And, te mandaban saludos or, hola, este cassette para tal persona. And then from the other cassette, you'd press play and the music would record from that cassette to the other cassette.
Oh, damn. Oh, right.
And that's how you would do it. So I'd be like, bueno, y la siguiente canción es de tal artista y bang, play. And then let it go.
Wow. Very different to how it is now, I'm assuming.
I used to, you'd record from radio stations, from like the radio. You'd be pressing record. You'd be praying that the presenter wouldn't speak over the music or go to ads, and you'd be, recording mixes. And that was it. That was me when I was, I don't know, that probably started when I was 8, 9. Yeah. So I always wanted to do radio. That was always my thing. And I think I was so grateful. I mean, when we got to Aculco, we had a 25K studio. It was built around all the work that we'd put in previously. And it was a beautiful time, man. It was a beautiful time. And we were able to do that. Obviously, the biggest audiences I've probably had was during the pandemic with Sound Latino, because people were at home. People would literally just be listening in, in the mornings, do morning show. At night time, when I used to do, we used to do El Rumbón también del sábado, online parties, Saturday nights. They were the ones.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. So I feel I've done that. I visited the biggest radio stations on the planet. I've been to La Mega. I've been to El Sol in Miami. I've met my basically mentors. I went out there and I've met them, and I've been in the studios with them, and I've in that sense I feel accomplished in radio. My dream was always to work for Capital. Yeah. I at some point applied, I think, for a job as a runner. But eventually I understood how commercial radio works here in this country. It's a bit more tricky. It's a bit more different. You don't have the freedom to play what you want to play. And I think that's what I appreciated from being on community stations or online radio stations. Nobody told me, look, Will, you have to play this.
Yeah.
I would play what I felt was good for the people and lo que la gente quería escuchar and what I enjoyed the most. So it was just, it's been good. It's been good. From that side, I'm content. I'm content with what I've done in radio. It's good. But Never say never. That's
true.
That's the thing.
You might change your mind in a few years' time and be like, or maybe someone gives you a good investment and be like, yeah, well, this might be it.
Could be.
Could be. And I don't know this about you, but are you like first generation here, or were you born in elsewhere?
No, I was born here.
You were born here, so were your parents born here as well?
No.
Okay, cool. So you're like first generation.
Yeah.
And what do you identify as? Just out of curiosity, because it's becoming a thing now.
It's funny because everyone, I do a lot. A lot of my content now on Instagram always lo hago en español.
Yeah,
and obviously I spend a lot of my time speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people seem to forget, especially obviously the millennials that don't know that I was born here. I was born and bred in West London in Hammersmith. I went to school in Fulham Palace Road, just stone throw away from Fulham Football Club. And I grew up here till I was about 11. And then I went to live in Ecuador for 3 years till I was 14. So I studied in school in Ecuador. And I went to school there, and obviously that was the first time I met my grandparents, my family, my cousins, my uncles, aunties, everyone, the works. And I always say this, that I'm very grateful, and this is where the answer to you as how do I identify comes in. Until I was 11 and until I left, I was English as far as I was concerned. My accent was much more heavier than now. I don't feel you should have heard me when I was under 11. It was crazy. Like proper Brit. But I went over there and I learned what it was to be Ecuadorian. That was the key. And I will forever be grateful to my parents for making that decision. Because it helped me, I think it shaped me to be the person I am today in the sense of in every sense. I saw pobreza, I was very humbling experiences. I slept on the floor, I slept in el campo, I slept on concrete, I slept where they've got no electricity. My family, half of my family are quite, quite humble. I know the struggles that people go through over there. I lived it firsthand. Yeah. And then there was school where you got taught about history and about, about the history of the country and the passion that it is to be Ecuadorian, to be Latino. But mostly the roots, the music, the food, just everything. And I think it was such a complete experience over those years that when I came back here and finished off my GCSEs, it prepped me and from there it just happened where I think the biggest turning point for me was when Ecuador faced England in a World Cup back in 2000. That was crazy. That was like 2000 and was it 2006? I think 2006. Yeah, how can I forget, in Germany? So I went to that World Cup and I saw one of Ecuador's games, and then we played Germany. And after we played Germany, we had to play England in the next round. And I think that was a defining moment, like sat there in front of the television and thought, this is it. whoever I suffer for most today is going to define the rest of my life. So it was like, yeah, and Ecuador nearly scored in the first few minutes. We Ashley Cole did a goal line clearance, I remember, and we didn't. And then England won with a David Beckham special.
Yeah,
and that was it. 1-0, it was over. But yeah, I was just rooting for Ecuador. I just felt that I developed a feeling for Ecuador. I had always even when I came back, our parents, we grew up in a household the same as most Latino kids.
Household, yeah. Spanish in the house.
Spanish in the house, English at school. That was the rule.
The food was
Yep.
the same
The
as the
food,
culture.
sopita siempre. Like I hated soup when I was a kid. Now,
Me too.
now I ask my mom to prepare the soup when I see her because you miss it.
Yeah.
Cumbias los domingos, cleaning the house, waking you
Oh,
up early in the morning.
the weekend cleaning the
The
house.
weekend
Yeah.
Ya levántese.
You don't sleep in
It's
the
8
weekend.
o'clock in the morning, mom, on a Sunday.
Hasta la limpieza.
The works we used to watch. My dad, used to look forward to your family going to Ecuador or to wherever it was and coming back with las maletas,
Full of food.
full of food, lollipops and
All the
cassettes,
candy, yeah.
El Chavo del Ocho, Cantinflas. So that was my upbringing. It was in a Latin house. It was in an Ecuadorian house, and I've obviously, like I said, the living in Ecuador helped me to shape myself more as an Ecuadorian. And now it just comes automatic. When someone asks me where you from, I say from Ecuador, which is not technically true because obviously I hold a British passport. I was born here. I'm meant to say I'm British, but I'm proud to say as well that obviously British. I always say it's so easy. I think it's a blessing. I can do both things. I'm as comfortable eating un encebollado or una guatita as I am eating mash and pie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hangers and mash. Oh,
yeah, I can do both. I love English breakfast. For me,
roast.
Yeah, I can do a roast, and then I can do hornado, and you just switch, and it's great. It's great. So, but yeah, mostly, it's over the years, especially, and in my shows, I think it highlights esa pasión que uno siente, and how proud we are to be Latinos, and obviously whichever country you are from, and the roots that we have, and everything that comes with it. That's absolutely true. Everything, the music, the food, the culture,
the way of life.
The way of life,
mentality.
It's
very different. See, that's partially the reason why I actually started this part of the show. Because originally when I did the Juan and Patrick show, right, it was trying to find our identity. Because I guess me and him went through a bit of a similar route. Same to yours. I wasn't born here, but I came here at 2. So it was practically like, first language for me was English. Yeah. And I was learning Spanish from my parents, but I still had a miscommunication error at the same time. 'Cause I'm still more inclined to my English side. It wasn't until I went to Colombia and I still felt misplaced, out of place, because I wasn't really in there. Only when I started kind of doing the videography stuff was I exposed to the community properly. Then I started understanding a bit better, and I was like, right. But I started talking to a lot of other people, and they kind of go through the same situation, and now they're calling it an identity crisis. And now a lot of us are saying British, Latino, or whatnot. Did a little bit of research behind it, and I'm just comparing, because you've been to America, so have I, and I see the difference now, where you have like 7 generations of Mexican, Puerto Rican, and Dominicans in the States. 7 generations.
Yeah.
While say like majority of South Americans that come here, it's just about 2 to 3.
Yeah, it's just 3.
So we're kind of, in a sense, like 20 years behind that development, because when I go over there to America, Mexicans call themselves Americans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're more, 100%. I mean, they're more, I don't think it's...
Some of them don't even speak Spanish.
Yeah, and that was the point I was about. They don't even think it's wrong that they don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Tell them. They're not.
There's no way, and there's grown adults, and I remember this. There's these chat rooms that were happening over in the pandemic. I can't remember the app. Había una aplicación, and it was based upon, talking about where do you feel from and how you are, and people would come into the room and they'd be sort of like, look, I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm Honduran and I'm Nicaraguense and I'm half this, I'm half that, but I don't know how to speak Spanish, and I apologize, and people, will be sympathetic with the fact that you don't have to apologize, but learn it.
Yeah.
I'd say learn it.
It's your roots. Yeah.
You need to know that the language from your roots. I feel it's being bilingual is such a privilege. It's such a privilege, and it really gets you places. I mean, I had a job.
Yeah.
I had a job with the council. I used to get paid just for knowing Spanish. Then I eventually learned Portuguese, and I was getting paid more to know 2 languages.
Oh, nice.
So it helps. It will help you in the world. It'll help you in your development. But yes, like you were saying over there, they kind of like identify more as Americans. Like they're, you know, son Latin, they're Latin, but they're more of from the American side. Here, every time you shout like "Donde están los Latinos?" you feel like yes, somos Latinos, like, and it's more of that's what we like to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't go where are the British Latinos?
Yeah, right. But the only reason I'm bringing it up, and his is, you know, I'm all into the marketing side of things, social media and all that stuff, filming and whatnot. And obviously I was doing the music stuff before. The only reason that started becoming a thing is because we wanted to create some sort of identity as people who basically started inhabiting here. As opposed to, you know how, like, for example, like the music industries are way better off Latino side in America. Obviously, it's very uncomparable. It's a big, it's disgustingly big. Yeah, one state it overpowers London popularity-wise by a megaton. But I'm trying to remember the point I was trying to make. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so obviously I've worked with a lot of artists, and it's to say, and this is in relation to the radio as well, because you know how radio kind of was built to support, in a way, communities and to kind of help the growth of their music development as well and the creativity. But obviously there's radio stations over there promoting Latin American or Latino new music that's coming out there, while as opposed to here, we have a mix of both, but it's almost like we haven't really figured out el sonido.
Yeah.
For ejemplo, you know what I mean? Like, what's a good thing? Like, what's a good mix between someone who was bred here but is a Latin person? Mezcla. It's that sound to create a separate sound that is clearly not that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. I think obviously in terms of structure, it's I always sometimes hear comparisons between America. We can't. They've got their own radio stations. The
infrastructure's
television networks, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of TV channels across the country that are just Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, they do las telenovelas. They actually record them, obviously, in America. You know, in Miami, está Televisa, está Univision, está, you know, they're huge. Like, we can't compare. We're not, and we will never get there. There's just. We have to.
Not enough land, anyways.
we're not gonna get there for maybe we might get there maybe in 60 years, but
a few decades.
We probably won't be around. So you know, it would take an incredible amount of time. Why? Because they've been more advanced, and because of the
generations.
There's just generations of people that have been there. But I feel, you know, that there is obviously. There's that potential still here. There's massive potential. It's just that the infrastructure is probably not there or not the right one here at the moment.
Well, soon as here's hoping one day. Anyways, I mean, because nowadays you've seen how some events are now trying to push the whole artist side of things. Well, I'm gonna be completely honest now. This might be a bit controversial. If I'm going to a party and I know someone's performing, I don't mind it, whatever. Everyone can have their 5-10 minute set. It does, however, cut off the momentum of that party for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's happened in a lot of venues. No one says anything, but what really makes me just get to my gut, I'm like, okay, I'm all here for supporting. But then everyone else is just kind of standing and waiting. And it's like, damn, this is a bit awkward. But we won't address it too much. It just happens every now and then.
No, I think on touching on that point, I've been honest. I mean, people ask me constantly, I want to perform in your night. First of all, I don't like people doing anything for me for free. Everyone that knows and works with me knows that. Blunt, I say this to you. I think even when we've worked, if I said I don't have the budget to pay you what you're asking me, I'm not gonna hire you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. because I don't go around. I will go sometimes and go to another promo. I go, you know what, bro, put me in there. Like, don't worry, man, we'll sort it out afterwards, whatever. But now I'm at a point where obviously I have my set fees and that's it. And that's when other promoters approach you and it's be like, look, that's what I charge. Oh, can you listen? I'm not gonna start working out, you know, this, that, because of that. I think that we're all working towards a purpose, especially if it's your bread and butter, which is mine. Like, if I start taking away from what I feel I should be earning, then, you know, it's a problem. It becomes a problem. But obviously, you know, you make concessions and you try and work with people constantly, and I think that's now what I eliminate in moving forward, that I don't have to contend with that. The fact is that I will, you know, I can do my own thing. But moving back to the point that we're discussing, I've been honest with most local artists, and I've said, guys, I'm sorry, but
you're not bringing in the crowd.
It's not going to contribute anything to the night. And like we were going back, my event's a crossover. Tú te imaginas, like, la gente está enrumbada and everyone's having a good time, and all of a sudden I pick any local artist that could just immediately just jump to your head. We'll put them in, and it will cut off the flow of the event, the flow of the party. And unfortunately, there are maybe one or two people that I can think of. I think, you know what, maybe they'll get it going. Si canta maybe one or two reggaetones, that's it, and then we carry on.
Yeah.
Might be it, but that's probably not what they want. They probably want to sing 4 or 5 songs. And I say this constantly. I say more than 3 songs from a new artist that people don't know, it's going to affect the event. And you have to think of your customers. You have to think of your public. You have to think of your crowd as much as you want to support. Now, I was thinking about this because I know you've been such a massive advocate for new talent, and I think that's great. But what I would say here and now to the new artists, and I've said this to so many, and listen, my IG is always open. My DMs are there open. You can write to me, say to me, and everyone else I will try and support as much as possible. However, you need to obviously produce the product that is going to be good enough to expose, first of all, to present to the public. And if my public they're over 25 and they're mostly into salsa and bachata, but you're doing rap, how can I put you in there? It doesn't make sense. Or you're doing a reggaeton that's so slow and romantic
you can't even
move to it. How can I put you in? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make there's no logic to the event. There's no logic to me financially, because, you know, if you're not going to turn up with a crowd of 20 or 30 people behind you, it doesn't help me. It would help me also that if you tell me, look, I'm bringing 30 people, 20 of them are going to buy tickets, 10, I only need 10 guest lists. You know what? Cool, let's do it. And nobody's come up to me and said that. I've never had that. And most 1 or 2 artists that I might have had before, they'll come with their family, and they'll come with a couple people, and everyone's on guest list. Where is the benefit? You know, you want us to benefit yourself, but where's the benefit for the promoter?
No,
that's what it comes down to. So we want to do that, but I would say to them, listen, if that I'm not the right moment, what I would suggest, and I see there's some showcases going on now. I think those are the right environments. Those are the right events.
Just
let's put them on. If you guys want to, heck, if I have 4 or 5 artists that get together and say, well, we want you to promote us, we want to do a showcase, let's do it. I have no problem. I'll find you a venue. We'll put them up. Let's do free entry. Show up. But we don't have that. I think the biggest problem we've had is that people are just not knocking on the right doors.
It's true.
You know, I've been around for ages now, and I used to have this issue on the radio where I'd be saying, people, send me your music. Send me your music. Send me your music. Send me your music. It's like, no. I think this week I've had 2 artists send me their music. One of them is Salsero, Robin del Castillo's got a new single out. And Manito, can you listen to it? What do you think? You know? Sent. I've had a discussion with, I think, White Wolf as well at one point, saying, bro, what do you think this? Bro, está un palazo, like, suéltalo. I've started playing one of his tracks in one of the nights. This is it. You know, you just need to, it's a message, you know, to the people, to the DJs. I would say to the artists, it's that easy. Say, look, this is my song. I'm going to send it to 10 DJs. Who are the 10 DJs that are playing the most in London at the moment? Make a list. Find out. Go to all the clubs. Go personally, bro. Look, here's my USB. Can you listen to the song? You know, or send it via email first. Then insist. Turn up to the club personally and go, bro, did you listen to my song in the email? Oh, I haven't had a time. Can you listen to it in a minute when you switch over with the other DJ? You know, I've bought it on a USB. You know, can you play it later? Mate, there's always a chance to fit in somewhere. Maybe if it's the right vibe, there'll be a chance. But it can't be, you know, it has to go with the theme, and it has to go.
It has to make sense.
Yeah, and it has to make sense to the people that are there. Because like you said, you don't want to cause that awkward moment.
Yeah. 100%.
And I'd say to the artists, if as promoters, you know, we're not doing events to showcase, do your own.
Yep. Yeah.
Do your own. You can do it. There's no difference. Find a venue. Say, look, this is me. I'm going to perform. I'm going to put some money on a sponsored post. I'm going to ask all my friends to share. I'm going to ask all my family. Do it. But you can't. I keep hearing this. Oh, we're not included in events. Why are you waiting around?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Go seek your own fortune, basically.
Do it.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Do it yourself. Turn up. Say, look, I want to perform for you. Do a little tour. There's 7, 8 clubs that I can think of in my head, right? I don't see the artists ever coming out to these. And I don't mean that you need to come out and club every night, but you need to
put in the legwork.
Yeah. You want to show your face, introduce yourself. Yo, DJ, new DJ, hi DJ, my name's Tal. This is my music here. Have a listen. That's it.
Yeah.
Go to the next club. Hi, listen, hola, ¿qué tal? Mira, yo soy tal, esta es mi música. Puedes escucharlo, tal. Bro, I haven't seen anyone do that. So you see how many things in 5 minutes, probably like 3 methods of things that can be done. So there is things that you can do, but it's all effort.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy. None of this comes easy. I mean, you know, even to the stage where I'm at, where I'm able to do my own events, it didn't come easy. I had to go through, you know, we've lost, as promoters, the promoters will know, we've lost money. There's been nights where we've had to dig into our own pockets. We've lost money. It's been an amazing night, and we put out great videos and photos, and then we look at our bank account and it's not the same. So that's where you put in, you dig deep and you think, no, next time it's got to be better. I've got to think of doing this. I've got to do that. I've got to reach out.
And the DJs are the best people to get feedback from.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I think, and there are, you know, there are quite a few DJs that are out there that will support and will want to support, but I think they can't do anything if you don't approach them. You need to approach them. Send them your music. Say, look, this is me. This is what I'm going to do. And there are, you know, there are probably going to be a couple of people that go, oh, well, yeah, but I sent you your stuff, my stuff, and you didn't play it. Listen, remind me again. Write to me again.
Keep pestering me until I eventually.
It's the knocking on the doors.
I'm the same.
It's the knocking on the doors, man.
I'm the same. People need to keep pestering you because then.
Yeah.
I can meterle ganas.
Yeah, no, and it's because you have so much. There's so much going on.
That's the problem. Yeah.
And you're you're involved in doing different things, and if you're in different events, I mean, it's funny because I get sometimes there'll be 1 or 2. La mayoría, they know how I work. And obviously this been my last month as a full-on 4 or 5 gig a week DJ. There'll be one that'll be like, oh, bro, can you promote this? And I'm like, you'll get your events in like 3 weeks time. I have 12 gigs before that. Like, so I will get to it.
I'll get to it, just not right now.
I've got 12 gigs, and within those 12 gigs, 2 of those are my events, so I have to kind of prioritize. So it's that, you know, it's the getting round to it, and the putting that extra effort, in, and you know, the biggest thing I can say it's I think this is a thing in life. You just have to keep knocking doors. Nothing comes easy. Nothing comes easy. It's been, you know, a lot of people think it's all fun and games, even as being a DJ. But you know, my feet hurt when I'm standing around for 6-7 hours. My back's starting to play up. Ya uno se está haciendo viejito. And you know, and it also plays on your mind. Las trasnochadas, it messes up your sleeping pattern. But we're there, and you're there with the same energy every single night. Like, there are nights that I think when I arrive to my 5th night, usually on a Sunday, which will probably be Bola Ocho.
Yeah.
When it's a Bola Ocho gig on a Sunday, you turn up and I look at the guys as I walk in, and it's like, we're ready to go home now. As soon as the night hasn't even started, and we're ready to go home. But bro, I'll tell you something. Once the music hits, that's it. Se me quita el cansancio.
Yeah, the adrenaline, the energy in the room.
Yeah, once I see people dancing, once I see people energy, and we're bouncing off each other, desaparece. It just goes, man. But then come the end, la madrugada, it's like, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Mondays are usually the day where yeah, just
the phone is off.
Yeah. Mondays is like, no estoy para nadie, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. It's but it's been, you know, it's the same as whether you're a DJ or a promoter or an artist. You have to work and grind, and I think it's en cualquier trabajo, en cualquier nivel, just keep going. You have to keep going, but set yourself a plan. I had a plan, and I'm executing it. I think you might be aware, you know, in the last few months I moved abroad as well. So I sort of divide my time between Barcelona and London. It was something I manifested about 2 years ago, that I wanted to live in Barcelona.
So jealous of you now. But you're getting the sun now.
No, actually Barcelona, see, I live it's about an hour away. It's un pueblo que se llama Vic. It's a small town. I don't like to call it pueblo. I think they get offended. But it's a small town, very small town. But yeah, and I just enjoy the change, being able, you know, the constant flying. It takes it out of you, but I enjoy it. But it was there, you know. It was a plan that I had in mind, and the same with the radio. You know, I wanted to do this, and I had dreams of performing at Wembley Arena, and I did it. And I wanted to be I wanted to step on the O2 stage. I did it, and I wanted to meet Daddy Yankee. I met him twice.
You met Bad Bunny too?
Yeah, we met Bad Bunny as well. And I'm a big fan of la salsa. You know, Jerry Rivera, Victor Manuel. Worked with Victor Manuel. Now one of my favorite artists, Jesse Uribe. I've worked with Jesse Uribe. I toured with the guys in Switzerland and in Spain. So it's have plans, have metas, have manifest it as well, you know.
Remind yourself daily on that.
Yeah, and just work towards that. You know, I wanted to be on the radio, have my own radio show. I did that. Quería regalar entradas a la gente. I did that. Compartir con la gente en la calle. I've done that as well, you know. This summer was good fun with the Romeo Santos concert like we mentioned before. Went on the streets and we're there, and it was just such good vibes with the people, and you know, that connection. Then I wanted to work for myself, and that's what I've been doing full time for the last few years. You know, I haven't, you know, no office work, no 9 to 5.
Beautiful.
No Monday feeling. You don't have that anymore, right?
I haven't had that.
You haven't had that for a while now.
3 years I've been out.
It's crazy because now it's like I
can't go back.
Yeah, no.
You refuse. Yeah.
It's you know, I've got to look for something. I want to do probably something, but I don't. Yeah, it's just the 9 to 5 is probably not the one anymore. Once you've moved away from it, you just
it's a hard concept to grasp.
And it's a blessing. And I say, you know, you're in a blessed position, perhaps same as myself, and I'm grateful for being where I am at the moment. In my life, because it's given me, it's helped my mental health, me da esa paz mental The stress is on zero levels. You know, you're not stressing out. Sunday nights are just, you know, if I'm not DJing, it's just another night. I don't have that Monday feeling or that rushing in the morning on a Monday. And instead now I'm just picking up my bag and flying out. You know, every Monday I go to my second home in Spain. And it's just nice. It's nice to be able to, but all this took work, mate. And it's hours and sweat and sometimes certain tears, because you go through problems with nothing's perfect. Not, you know, my life isn't by all means, is, you know, it might sound like it's nice, but it's not perfect. You know, I have my internal issues, my conflicts. I've had to battle depression. I had to battle chronic depression over the last few years. I developed anxiety as well. You know, so overcoming these things or having to contend with them, they're challenges that you face, and you face them alone, because there isn't a lot that other people can sometimes do for you. They support you, but there isn't a lot that can be done. I'm trying to work something I want to touch on. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, we recorded a series of Talking with Will. So Talking with Will TV.
Oh, really?
It's on YouTube. And that was in regards to mental health. So we've got about 6 shows that we've recorded, and that's on YouTube. I want to push those.
Send me the link.
Yeah,
put it in the description.
I'm gonna send you the link so that you know, if people want to check it out. And we talked, you know, with deep discussions there. We've got psychologists on there,
Nice.
professionals. We discussed the mental health in men, first of all. Then we did mental health women, how it affects them, depression, mental health in kids and youth as well, because it's not something that I think people understand and address, that the young ones as well go through mental health issues. I mean, we're getting kids, you know, sadly we're losing kids at 11, 12, 13 by their own hands.
Yes.
So, you know, those type of things that people don't want to talk about, and they're issues that we have to talk about.
Yeah. It's an uncomfortable thing to talk about, but it has to be addressed.
Yeah, and over the years, you know, I've strongly gone into that in the fact of, like, you know, let's talk about mental health on a regular basis. Don't shy from it, guys. When I see guys are down, I get worried. I get concerned. Because, you know, I've been in a couple of those dark places, and you don't want that to happen. We're good, you know. I think everyone brings something to life. Everyone brings something positive. Every single person brings something positive to
100%.
life, and so we want you to stay with us. And, you know, and yeah, whatever I can do, I'm gonna try and see. Unfortunately, my producer got snapped up by the BBC.
Oh, that's
there wasn't a lot I could do. After we finished the series, she was like, well, I got snapped up by BBC, and now she records that series, you know, where they go for properties in Spain, in the sun.
I think I know what it's
something
called.
along the sun. I can't remember the name. She's gonna kill me for knowing something.
Yeah.
But she's the producer. She's one of the producers there. So
good news, though.
Yeah, amazing. No, it's good to see people progressing, and I think that's. You receive what you give is definitely, I think, and la energía conmigo will always be that way. You know, I'm delighted to see people progressing. I mean, look at, you know, your Patrick as well, your colleague right now. Shout out to Patrick, because, you know, just to see him happy and see him
pushing,
blessed, and he's hitting millions of, we're talking millions now of views on his TikToks, and he's so real and so genuine, just him. And it's like, you know, that's
what's needed as well. Just a bit of humanity.
Yeah,
empathy, humanity.
I think, because sometimes I think we overthink stuff. I mean, sometimes even me, it happens to me. Sometimes I've been on, I don't go online, or I don't record a video porque no estoy peinado, I haven't shaved, or, you know what, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. People just want to hear from him. And it's funny that even when I just do a standard video, just sitting on the couch,
that does better.
As a shout, and people will react more to that, because they see you genuine,
in your natural state.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you want to do, and you want people to perceive you in that way.
That's true. See, that's what I've been doing more of these podcasts, but Patrick wants me to go into the blogging style, but I'm just like, I can't do it. Not for reasons of like I suffer from mental health in regards to this social media stuff. When I was doing a lot of posting, because I work in social media, it gets overwhelming to the point where I was like, this is just too much.
Yeah.
And it just affected me in such a way where I'm just like, this just feels
wrong
in a way. Yeah, it just feels wrong in a way. So trying to get back into it, I'm debating about it because I did want to do it before, but coming back, going to Colombia, calmándome, and then kind of seeing how they live their life, they don't even use it as much. And I'm just like, this is kind of very peaceful and stuff. I don't know. It just felt different. So I come back here and I'm like, yeah, well, I feel like I'm taking in the world differently because I'm less on the phone. You know, I'm just enjoying the moment. But it is memories as well.
Nice.
At the same time. So I'm like, I'll do a great
job. No, I'm going back to the other point that it's great to see people just progress. You know, like we said, you get what you receive in the sense of great, people are doing their own thing. Ya sean artistas, ya sean promotores, ya sean DJs, ya sean, you know, what would you say you're a YouTuber now?
I would say so. No.
Is that what you say?
I feel like it. I mean, I'm still just like, let's just call me like a creative. That's it. That's as much as I. But I would love to be a proper
creative. I don't know what would you say?
I wouldn't even know what to call it because technically my real job is just filming.
Yeah.
But videographer. But now I'm doing photography stuff. But they haven't really built the title yet. All we're called, and when I go on shoots, is
podcasters.
Podcasters, yeah. But socials. That's what I'm called, basically. Okay. On a call sheet in a shoot, I'll be like the socials guy.
Okay.
But obviously, I'm doing this as well, so I'm just like, well, self-investing in your thing. But this is pretty much documentation. I'm pretty much documenting.
Okay.
More of a documentator. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, because like, that's the whole point. Like, for me, I think the idea of taking videos and photos, we've forgotten that value a little bit. Because you know how it turned into the whole promotional side and whatnot. And then I remember my mom, I know my auntie, she loves taking pictures. I'm annoyed. Stop taking pictures. But then when she finally kind of presented a book, a printout, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember this. You know, the Latin families, they have books.
The albums, man.
Albums. And you're just like, you know what? I almost forgot the reason why we did this. Especially when it's done in physical form. The digital way, you can delete, you can do anything. But once you get it physically in your hand, you're just like, actually, there's a lot of value here because you're reflecting. Especially when you're like 10, 20 years down the line, you're going to remember this moment and be like, I can't relive that, but I can remember it.
Yeah.
So that's when I deeped it. That's when I was like, I'm just going to put all my work on YouTube. That was the whole point of this. I'm going to put all my work on YouTube and I'm going to talk to the people that I've worked with because I'm very thankful for every person I've worked with because I have lived this life now because of you guys. Simple as that.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
Yeah. That's why I have you on.
Amazing, bro.
Yeah. And I've been loving seeing your development as well. So I'm just like, yeah.
No, it's great, man. I mean, obviously, you know, your work speaks for itself and you've done some really, really good stuff, man. And obviously now you still, you know, and to be doing this is great, man. Like, congratulations to you and also for I think you're doing the podcast with Patrick as well. Yeah, so it's good fun, man, watching you two. It's good fun.
We're coming back.
It's good fun. We're
deciding on what do you think of this idea? Because it's more like he's giving me the ideas now because he knows the market. Well, his market is obviously American, and it's more like touristically. He's like the Americans are saying we want to know what to do when you're Latin and coming to London. So we're thinking we need to go visit all of these restaurants, all of these clubs. But obviously, that's not just the Latin part of being English Latin or whatever. You know, it's also the fact that you can go to Brixton and go get a patty somewhere and stuff like that. We need to kind of mix that incorporation. Yeah, that's what we're thinking of doing.
It's time, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
it's time, man.
It's time and money and all that stuff.
And I've been thinking about doing I keep getting this thing in. You must have seen it on Instagram. Why should you have a podcast in 2023?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's still shooting up now. We're in 2024 and it still keeps coming up. And I'm thinking, I should have a podcast in 2024. But I'm like, oh, man.
Time,
It's like,
effort, money.
yeah, 100%, man. So I watch you lot, and I'm like, okay, I'm all right for now.
Yeah, no.
But we'll see. I'd love. Listen, I think my next step would probably be I've definitely feel strongly about doing a podcast on mental health, especially
100%.
men's mental health. I
Oh, it's
think
needed.
that would be amazing. Y quizás hasta, hacerlo en español.
No, we
Because we got to take away that whole machismo side of ourselves, man. We don't talk about our feelings and we'll get cussed about it, but I think it's just important, and it'll be something important. I don't want it to be, the music will always be there. I'm thinking of maybe going back to doing maybe a live on YouTube at some point. But it's so I'm lazy in that sense, bro. The editing side of things, I respect that from all of you.
I respect him for doing it too.
He's got a producer.
He has to switch it back and forth. Yeah, no, it's a lot of work, but like you said, tiene que poner las pilas en las cosas. And in this world right now, we're living in a very phone social world, if anything you want to call it that way. Everyone knows you via a screen nowadays instead of in person. I mean, that's how I've seen. I'm not gonna lie. There's been a lot of people, and you probably get the same thing. You can't remember everyone's faces, but there's people that just know you, and you had no idea who they were.
Hi to them.
You're like, hi, tell me who you are, please.
No, it's funny because I think when people come up to you now, it's like, don't you know who I am?
I'm like, don't
I'm
ask
like,
me them questions.
I'm following on nearly 4,000 people. You're gonna have to be more specific.
Yeah. I'll know you by your Instagram name.
Don't you identify people that way now?
Yep.
You actually know them. Who are you on Instagram? If you tell me your nickname on Instagram, then they're like, I'm blah blah blah.
Oh, _46.
El emoticon ese. Okay, right.
Yeah,
that's the one. So you end up identifying like that.
That's interesting, man. But I'm making sure that we have completed all that, my friend.
Amazing.
See how easy that was? Easy,
beautiful.
Hey, bro, thank you for coming in, man. I know it was like getting you organized before Christmas and stuff like that. Now we managed to make it here. But you're pretty much you're like the first proper one of 2024.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Keep it going. Muchas gracias. Seriously, thanks, man.
And I look forward to the next event. I'm going to come to the next one.
Do it.
Woo. There you go.